1 week before Christmas my son declared, "Dad, we're taking your house for the party. You can stay in the garage." I smiled and handed him the keys. On Christmas morning the house was empty. They called in a panic. I answered from a hotel. What happened next left them speechless. Family story. I still remember the exact way the afternoon light came through the living room windows that day. The house sat quiet on a tree-lined street in a subdivision that had been mine for 42 years. Same brick front, same cracked driveway I had patched every spring, same porch light that flickered whenever the wind blew hard from the west. My late wife Helen and I had raised our only son under this roof. After she passed, the place felt larger than it needed to be, but it was paid off and it was home. Derek showed up without calling first. He always did. He stood in the doorway wearing that same half-smirk he had carried since high school, the one that said he already knew the answer before he asked the question. Behind him I could see his wife Megan waiting in the SUV with the kids. The engine was still running. He walked straight into the kitchen like he owned it and opened the refrigerator. "Dad, listen," he said, pulling out a bottle of water. "We're doing the big Christmas party here this year. Megan's side is coming in from out of state. We're talking 30, maybe 35 people. The kids need space to run around. Your place is perfect." I nodded and kept stirring the coffee I had just poured. He kept talking. "Thing is, we need every room. Living room for the tree and the food tables, dining room for the adults, both bedrooms upstairs for the overnight guests. So you'll need to clear out for a couple of nights. You can stay in the garage. It's heated. You've got that old cot out there from when you used to work on the lawnmower. It'll be fine. We'll only be here from the 23rd through Christmas night." He said it the way a man says the weather is going to be cold. No question mark at the end. No pause to see how the words landed. I looked at him for a long second. The same boy who once cried when the neighbor's dog barked too loud now stood in my kitchen telling me where I would sleep in my own house. I felt something shift under my ribs, but I kept my face still. I reached into the drawer by the stove, the one that held the spare set of keys on a worn leather fob Helen had made years ago. I held them out. "All right," I said. "Here you go." Derek took them without looking me in the eye. "Great. We'll be by tomorrow to start moving some furniture around. Don't worry about the mess. We'll put everything back." He left the same way he came, already on his phone before he reached the driveway. I stood at the window and watched the SUV pull away. The kids waved from the back seat. I waved back. That night I sat in the recliner Helen used to claim and let the quiet settle. The house creaked the way old houses do when the temperature drops. I thought about every time Derek had needed something. The down payment on his first place that I covered. The car repairs I paid for without being asked. The summer I co-signed the loan so they could add a deck. I had always said yes. It was easier than arguing, and Helen had always believed family took care of family. I walked through every room with a notepad. The china cabinet that still held the plates we used on Sundays. The photo albums on the bottom shelf of the bookcase. The toolbox in the basement that still smelled like machine oil. I packed what mattered into 3 suitcases and 2 cardboard boxes. The rest I left exactly where it was. At 2 in the morning I called a locksmith I knew from the hardware store. He came before sunrise, changed every lock on the house, and handed me a new set of keys. I gave him the old ones and told him to throw them away. Then I drove to the extended stay hotel on the edge of town, the one with the free breakfast and the tired carpet. I paid for 2 weeks in cash. The room was small and the heater rattled, but the bed was clean and no one asked me to sleep on a cot. I spent the next days quiet. I walked the river trail in the mornings. I ate at the diner that still knew my order. I called the real estate office across from the post office and asked them to send someone out for an appraisal. The agent was a woman named Claire who had sold houses in the area for 20 years. She walked through the place on the 20th, nodded at the solid bones and the paid-off status, and said she could have it under contract before the new year if I wanted. I told her to list it the day after Christmas. Christmas morning arrived gray and cold. My phone rang at 7:14. Derek's number. I let it go to voicemail the first time. The second time I answered. Dad? Where the hell are you? We're standing outside. The keys don't work. Everything's locked. Your truck's gone. What is going on? His voice was higher than usual. In the background I could hear Megan saying something sharp and one of the kids asking why Grandpa's house looked empty. I sat on the edge of the hotel bed and looked out at the parking lot. I'm at the Riverside Inn, I said. Room 214. There was a long pause. Then, what do you mean you're at a hotel? We have people coming at noon. The tree is supposed to go up. The food is in the cooler in the garage. You can't just... I can, I said. And I did. This is not funny. Unlock the door. Right now. I changed the locks the night after you took the keys. The house is empty of me. That's what you asked for. His breathing got louder. You can't do this. This is our Christmas. People are flying in. Megan already ordered the catering. I kept my voice even. You told me the house was yours for the party and that I could stay in the garage. I smiled. I handed you the keys. Then I packed what I needed and left. The garage is still open if you want the cot. The rest of the place is locked because it is still my name on the deed. Silence stretched on the other end. I could hear him covering the phone and talking fast to Megan. When he came back his voice had dropped into something colder. You're really going to do this to your own son on Christmas? I'm not doing anything to you, I said. I'm doing something for myself. The house goes on the market the day after tomorrow. Claire from the real estate office already has the paperwork ready. You and Megan can host your party somewhere else. Or you can use the garage. Your choice. I heard the exact moment the words landed. No shouting. Just the kind of quiet that happens when a person runs out of the lines they practiced. Megan's voice rose in the background, sharp and disbelieving. One of the kids started to cry. Derek finally said, "You can't sell Mom's house." "It's been my house for a long time," I answered. "And it still is. Until the papers are signed." I ended the call. The phone rang again almost immediately. I turned it face down on the nightstand and let it vibrate itself quiet. Outside the hotel window the sky stayed the same flat winter gray. Somewhere across town my son stood on a porch that no longer opened for him, holding a set of keys that no longer worked, staring at a house that had already started to empty itself of the life we once shared. I poured a cup of the weak hotel coffee and sat with it until it went cold.